was in Lanzarote for a week, and I kept having the same feeling. It was almost like the island has a personality, or maybe a set of rules. The more I looked around, the more I realized that this island might actually be one giant artwork. Not because someone created it, but because somebody decided to just let it be. One of the first things I noticed was the color palette. It sounds very artsy and slightly annoying to say it out loud. Everything is black, white, brown, green, and blue. If it's not gloomy. That is basically it. Somehow nobody got bored and decided to paint their own house pink or green, which I did in Budapest. It makes me wonder if it's even legal actually to paint your house any other color than white. I gotta look it up. Because of that, Lanzarote feels very connected. The white buildings, the black volcanic rocks and rock formations, the green cactus and palms everywhere, even though the island is super dry. The blue ocean and, if you're lucky, the sky. The colors just come all together. And the more we drove around the island, the more I realized that Lanzarote doesn't try to impress. It just quietly exists. And all because of a man who didn't want to win against nature. One name kept appearing, and it was César Manrique. Maybe you have heard about him. I haven't as much, although I do have some recollections from art school. So I was eager to a little bit explore who he was. And from what I gathered, he wasn't just a local artist. He was shaping the way the island actually developed, or maybe more accurately, he was trying to stop people from ruining the island, which honestly feels like one of the hardest art projects ever attempted. Imagine as an artist who takes up on the responsibility of an entire island as an art piece. Not a one-man job, but he did it. And it's very visible. Humans are incredibly creative, especially when it comes to making ugly things like billboards, giant hotels, concrete cubes. But César Manrique seemed obsessed with a different approach. Instead of asking what can we build here, he basically asked what does this place already want to be and how can we let it breathe. Once I started seeing that idea, I started seeing it everywhere. I was lucky to witness a big swell arriving to Morro Negro. When I paddled out, the first thought that came into my mind, looking at those huge walls, I should not be here. It's way too big for me. Just imagine the kind of waves that make you immediately respect the ocean and reconsider several life decisions at the same time. Surfing is basically humans trying to collaborate with energy. You can't control a wave. You either work with it or you don't. I didn't in that moment, but those who did had for sure some pulse pumping adrenaline high rides. and it was beautiful to watch. Decided to rather check out the skate park in La Santa. It's a concrete ball. A ball is maybe an abstract build of a wave. And even though it looks completely different, when you're riding, you actually have the same feeling as you would be pumping on a wave. So while it looks two completely different things, the feeling is very similar. One thing I always forget until I travel in a camper is how little you actually need. A small kitchen, a bed, coffee, food, a toilet and hot shower if you're lucky to have one in your camper. Life gets surprisingly simple. You wake up, check the waves, drive somewhere, cook something, sleep, and basically just repeat it. I even made my first tortilla de patata in the camper, which means I can cook Spanish, even though I don't speak Spanish. Sleeping by the beach just became so normal. You'd get used to it very quickly. At least I do. Something that you don't get used to is the weird animal noises. At 3 in the morning, everything feels either magical or terrifying. There is no middle ground. Before, I thought the artwork was the architecture. Foundation, the cactus garden, the viewpoints, the buildings. I thought those are the art. But now I don't think that's the truth. I think those are more like frames, much more concentrated frames to look at what's actually everywhere on the island. Because the actual artwork, I think, is the relationship between the people and the landscape in Lanzarote, between the creation and the restraints, between nature and design. The artwork is an entire island agreeing to not shout and create big, bold, intrusive experiences over its surrounding. As an artist, I think that's probably what I'm taking home. Not the surf, not the camper, not even the landscapes, but the reminder that creativity isn't always about adding more. Less is more is one of the first things we learn in art school. But it's also one of the first rules that as an artist, we tend to forget. Maybe art is about removing all and anything unnecessary until you can finally see what's already there and has always been there. And just try to protect that. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, I would appreciate you liking it. It's free and it helps me grow. Ciao.